Hi everyone, welcome to Week 5 APA Style Recap. Just like last week, we're just going to continue our discussion on APA. So by combining this week's and the previous week's recap together, hopefully you have a little bit more understanding of what is APA style, why do we use it, when and where do we use the in-text citations, and how to format the references. We're going to take another look at how to properly format an APA title page, as well as discuss further the different elements of the APA style paper. Just a reminder, if you are not already doing so, you always want to check your syllabus, your rubric, and follow your professor's instructions for any type of research assignment. Nursing requires for you to be able to have many writing skills. Writing is a big part of the medical and nursing field. APA is the writing, formatting, and documentation style set by the American Psychological Association. It is commonly used in psychology, social sciences, physical sciences, medicine, and engineering. We use it because it allows readers to cross-reference our sources easily. It provides a consistent format within a specific discipline. It gives you credibility as a writer, and it also protects yourself from plagiarism. Again, let's take a look at what an APA-style title page should look like. The basic title page is going to include your title, the author's name, that's you, and the institution the author is affiliated with. In this case, it's going to be Goodwin College. Your instructor might provide you with different instructions. If he or she does, then you definitely want to follow those. Everything in APA should be Times New Roman 12-point font. That's the one that's mostly recommended. Otherwise, whatever is specified by your instructor. You always want to make sure that the header font and the body of your paper font matches. So don't use Arial in your header and use Times New Roman in the body. Everything should be consistent. Just to further recap what's included on a title page in APA, in your header on the upper left corner, you will have the words running head, colon, a space, then the brief title all in caps. This brief title will be no more than 50 characters, including spacing. It'll have a capital R with a lowercase h. In the center of your paper, double space, you will have the full title of your paper, and then you will include your name, the institution, which is Goodwin College. If your professor provides you with a template or they tell you that they will want specific information on the title page, then you can go ahead and include the course and the date. But that's only if your professor specifies. If your research assignment, and only if it requires an abstract, that is going to be a brief summary of the entire study, your entire research paper, that will be presented directly after the title page on page 2. An abstract contains specific information, and generally it is the last thing that you will write. You will include the purpose or introduction of to your paper, the methods, results, and discussion. Just like the abstract, the title of the body should be centered in a 12-point font. It's important to use the same font again throughout your entire paper to maintain the image of a professional paper. The body is the area of your research paper where you're going to include your in-text citation as support for your arguments. Your introductory paragraph will present the problem that the paper is going to address. It needs to include your main topic, areas to be examined, and your thesis. Citations, and I cannot stress this enough, are a crucial aspect of an APA paper. It is important to properly cite your sources in order to avoid plagiarism. This means anytime you use someone else's ideas or words, you need to put a citation at the end of those ideas or words. Sometimes this might be after every sentence. Generally, it'll be in every paragraph. Your reference page is the blueprint of your paper, and your in-text citation will provide the clues to your instructor or to your readers as to what part of your paper came from which source. Anytime you are incorporating words, images, or music that are not your own, you need to have in-text citation. You also need to have an in-text citation anytime you paraphrase or summarize another person's ideas, or you're including facts that are not common knowledge. Here you'll see an example of citing references in text. This is what you will have in the body of your paper. You will notice here the citations always go before the period. Here. In this example of an in-text citation, you will see two different examples, the narrative or the parenthetical. The narrative in-text citation, you will have the author's last name. The publication year will follow immediately after, and then you will have your rest of your sentence. The in-text citation for a parenthetical citation will include the author's last name, a comma, the publication year, comma, and because it's a direct quotation, word for word, it's going to also include a page number or a paragraph number. Your in-text citation for the parenthetical citation will always go before the period. In-text citation inside the sentence. Now, APA has specific rules and guidelines for how your references should look as well as how your in-text citations should look like. This slide here you can spend some more time on to kind of go over because it really depends upon what you are citing. From your basic parenthetical format where you have the author's last name and the publication year to what you would have if you have an article like your Houston article, for example, where it's 6 or more authors, and you'll have the Brown et al. And the publication year. APA has specific rules on how your references and your in-text citation should look based upon the number of authors. So what would look like for an article with one author is going to look different when you have 3 to 5 authors versus when you have 6 or more authors. So you do want to pay attention to that. As mentioned before, APA Style has rules and guidelines for every type of resource as well as how the writing should look. If you have a direct quote that includes 40 or more words, then you have to format it in what's called a block quote. And APA will provide you as many different examples of how that would look. And generally, you will have your sentence and then you will have an indent, the direct quotation, and you'll notice here that the in-text citation follows the punctuation. So the punctuation in this case for a block quote is going to be before your in-text citation. Remember, there are two components of an APA documentation. You have your references, which is the blueprint of your paper, and your in-text citation. Your in-text citation is going to be a brief note of the author's last name, the year of the publication, and the page number or paragraph number for a direct quote on which the cited information can be found. Your references will be detailed information about all the sources that are used in your paper, and this is going to be the last page or pages of your research paper. Here you will see two examples of what a reference should look like for articles available in print. You will notice it's the author's last name, first initial, middle initial, the publication year. The title of the article is written in a sentence structure format, meaning that the first letter of the first word is capitalized. Everything else is lowercase unless it's a proper pronoun, no matter how the article title has it. The publication title and the volume number are in italics, and then you have the page number. Here are examples of what I hope most of your references will look like Keep in mind it will be double spaced. You will have the author's last name, first initial, publication year, title of the article in a set instruction format, the volume, the title of publication in italics, the volume in italics, an issue number if there's an issue number, your page number, and a DOI number or retrieve from publisher's UL. Most of the articles will have a DOI number. When you are searching in our databases, on the detailed record, it will indicate that, or on the first 2 pages of the article, you will see it has a DOI. If it has one, you want to include that. If not, it's simply retrieved from the publisher's URL, not the URL of the article from databases, not the permalink. And if you need any clarification, any assistance with that, please reach out to me directly. Sometimes this comes up, not too often, but if you are using more than one reference by the same author or the same group of authors listed in the same order, published in the exact same year, you're going to organize them in the reference list alphabetically by the title of the article or the chapter, and then you're going to assign a letter suffix to the year. So for example, in this example here, if you're referencing the first one, you'll put an A after the publication year. If you're referencing the second one, you're going to put a lowercase b next to the publication year to distinguish between the two. Please remember to use the APA resources provided in the Librarian Resources section of your Blackboard course. If you're not finding your answers or you need clarification, please post to the Librarian Discussion Board or email me directly at chunt@goodwin.edu.